Hello, Sheriff Mike Chitwood here from Volusia County, and I'm excited to be reading The Girl Who Built a Spider, Chapter 23 and 24. Chapter 23, Are You Really In There? Teresa put her ear up to the steel gate. She heard a buzzing sound coming and going, loud and then soft, then loud again. Dr. Flax, she asked, are you really in there? Yes, Teresa, please. These drones are swirling all around me, pecking at me every time they pass. I beg you, open the gate. Okay, John said, getting right to work. He jumped to the room's rainbow-colored 13-wedge Annabelle combo lock. We don't know D, John said, but we know R is blue crab, O is bottlenose dolphin, N is a great egret, E is a blue crab, S is a red-tailed hawk. We should be able to figure this out. I'll try bobcat for D. John was already punching in the combo. Wait, Teresa whispered. Dr. Flax should be able to open the door himself. Open the door yourself, she shouted through the door. Enter the combo. I can't remember it, Teresa, but I have no fear that John will eventually get it. But how could you, the doctor, forget? The Alpha Animal Code was the same for every lock on every door. Something wasn't right. John kept punching in animals. He tried copperhead snake, blue crab, bottlenose dolphin, great egret, blue crab, red-tailed hawk. Nothing. Teresa knelt down at the base of the door. Dr. Flax, are you really in there? Yes, Teresa, it's me. But Dr. Flax, he said, you've always been so polite and referred to us by our last names. You've always called me Miss Brown. I think it's very strange that you're suddenly calling me Teresa. Well, Teresa, in this moment of urgency, I thought we might shed formality and adopt a more familiar relationship. You may call me Neil. Teresa shook her head. It's not you. But John was working too fast to be stopped in time. He punched in redfish, blue crab, bottlenose dolphin, great egret, blue crab, and red-tailed hawk. Ding! John had guessed the combination, and the gate slid open. Thomas Edison, in his puffy black coat and winter scarf with electric blue eyes blazing, knocked Teresa over as he ran out of the room as fast as his little metal legs would carry him. No, Teresa, I'm not Dr. Flax, and I hope you'll forgive me, Thomas yelled as he wasted no time racing through the laboratory toward the eastern wing. But he wasn't the only robot that hadn't released. John grasped when he saw them flying out of the room. Teresa ducked as they flew right toward her. What have you done? Marie Curie yelled from the bridge that connected their walkway to the opposite one. Children, what have you done? Teresa looked up to see hundreds of drones flying free from the room, their propellers buzzing. They scattered every possible way, each one looking for an available spot of dirt, because every single drone they had released carried one tiny tree sapling. Every last drone had been programmed by Dr. Flax to complete one singular mission: to plant tree saplings wherever possible. Chapter 24 is titled The Prototype. You reckless children have doomed us all, Miss Curie screamed. She spun in circles, not knowing who to chase first. Her brother, Thomas Edison, who was barreling down the upper walkway, or the drones that came flying out after him. The drones got right to work. Dr. Flax had programmed each one with the same 4-step cycle. Pick up a tree sapling. Drill a hole in a patch of dirt. Plant that tree sapling, then return to the first step. They buzzed around Teresa and John in a swarm even more frightening than the robotic bees. They sparkled with the sun glittering off their solar panel backs, diving for any available patch of mud to plant their trees. Teresa and John jumped in the spider to chase Thomas, but the determined robot was dashing through the laboratory much faster than 12 miles per hour. Marie was after him too. "Go, Bonnie, go!" Teresa cried desperately. John blasted bubbles at the drones that flew too close to them with his bubble cone, but the barrage did little to slow them. The drones buzzed every possible way, searching for dirt, not seeming to mind if they almost took John's and Teresa's heads off. More and more of them flew from the drone's room, zipping by and planting trees in the cracks between stones, in pots intended for vegetables, even right in front of their spider as they marched along. Luckily, Bonnie could walk right over the precious saplings. "We have to get to Thomas and stop him," Teresa screamed. "He's going after the doctor's most important invention." "We don't even know what that is," John yelled back, but Teresa believed she knew. The Big Zero was at the end of the eastern wing, the former Headley's department store. She thought Thomas must be headed there. Miss Curie could roll faster than Thomas's spider could crawl. She weaved in and around palmetto trees and flowering shrubs and freshly planted saplings, dodging drones and heading straight for her brother, Thomas. "Go, go, go," John shouted. Teresa decided that as soon as possible, she should not only give Bonnie pressurized boots to allow her to jump, but she should also modify her servo motors so that they could move faster than 12 miles per hour. She also wished Bonnie had a shield of some kind to protect her from all the dive-bombing drones. But finally, when they reached the eastern wing and saw Miss Curie holding on to Thomas Edison's winter coat as he tried to wriggle out of it, Teresa and John jumped from the spider and ran to them. Marie was wrestling her brother, doing anything she could to keep him from getting away. "You can't, Tommy. I won't let you. You don't know what he's capable of." "That's exactly why I must destroy that evil thing," Thomas cried desperately to his sister as they tumbled to the ground. "Father wouldn't want you to. I know that, Marie, but Father doesn't understand the implications of his own creation. Now, let me go." Marie Curie would not. Thomas managed to dislocate his own metal arm so that he can escape his coat. Marie took hold of one sleeve and pulled. Thomas spun around 3 times before he righted himself. And then he once again started running for the Big Zero. Teresa realized she had just the thing to stop him. She jumped into her spider's driver's seat, grabbed hold of her dual grappling hook slingshots, and fired. Zip! The hooks flew through the air and grabbed hold of Thomas by his shoulder, flipping him backwards. Miss Curie flew by Teresa and belly flopped on her brother. Then Zachary Flax stepped out of his laboratory. "What is the meaning of all this?" he bellowed. Some of the drones had flown toward them looking for dirt to plant their tree saplings. Zachary swatted at them in anger, sending several of them plummeting to the ground. "Who has unleashed this chaos?" "The children," Marie Curie said desperately. "It was the children who let them out and let Thomas in. I'll escort my brother out, and I promise, Mr. Flax, you'll never be bothered by him again." "Oh, no, you won't," Thomas yelled, throwing his sister off him and charging toward Zachary with fury. He put his hands forward, and from his mechanical fingers sprang 10 sharp metal claws that extended 6 inches each. You are in danger, Thomas screamed at Zachary. You are the invention that must be destroyed. You have betrayed my father for the last time. Thomas really was malfunctioning, Teresa thought. Why else would he think Zachary was some kind of evil invention? But then Teresa and John gasped in horror as Zachary unscrewed his right arm from his socket and dropped it to the floor. It landed with a clang. It wasn't an arm made of flesh. It was a plastic and metal shell that hid Zachary's real arm. A long silver prod that hummed and crackled with electricity. As Thomas rushed toward him, Zachary's eyes blazed with hatred. He thrust the electrical prod forward. Thomas launched through the air with a push from his pressurized boots. But Zachary, far less than Thomas, ducked and swung his silver arm up, striking Thomas in his right chest. With a loud cracking, bzzz, an electric surge ran through his little robotic body, and he fell to the ground. His battery overloaded, his power source knocked out. Marie Curie wheeled over to him and swept her lifeless brother into her arms. And although she wasn't capable of manufacturing tears, she cried out loud as if she could. "No," she cried, "no, not my poor Tommy." She cradled his head and tried to reset his central processing unit, but he would not turn on, his eyes remaining dark. "My brave, determined, foolish Tommy," she cooed, swaying back and forth on her single wheel, her forehead pressed against his. Zachary stood up himself, cleared his throat, straightened his shirt, and tightened his tie. Then he picked up his false arm, screwed it back into place to hide the electrical prod. When he saw Teresa and John frozen with fear, staring at him, trying to make sense of what happened, he chuckled smugly. "You don't even know who I am, do you?" Thomas and John certainly didn't. "You children, so smart, and yet so naive. I am the greatest thing to ever be born in this laboratory. Me, I am the most advanced model of artificial intelligence the world has ever known. Even my uncle can't see that his most brilliant creation is not a bionic baby bottom buffer or a fiber weavator or anything that might restore balance to this planet. Of course not. The doctor's finest invention is a robot designed to be smarter than the doctor himself. In that he succeeded, for that robot is yours truly, the prototype for the next species to reign over all others. Perfection personified, and the first of many to come. Me, Zachary Flax the First.